Hello, and welcome back to the Misty Morrison podcast. This is episode 41 of Was I in the Wrong? This is my first episode back recording since I've been back from my trip to Colombia. Just a couple of weeks, just 1 week out now from my trip to St. Charles. Let's see. Here on the Misty Morrison podcast, we love to judge, we love to give advice, we love all the petty drama. But before we get into our stories for today, our usual housekeeping, whether you are new or returning, thank you so much for being here. Please engage with the content to help the channel grow. Every little bit of engagement can really help. Rate, review, like, comment, subscribe, share it with a friend. All the things, whether you are listening on podcast or YouTube, spread the word. All right. Our first story for today, story number 1, is coming to us from r/AITA_relationships. AITA for wanting my husband to split the bills evenly instead of just paying his share of the overage. I, 40 female, have been married to my husband, 48 male, for 2.5 years. In April 2023, his adult son, now 25, moved in with my daughter, 12 female, and me. Then in August of that same year, his 17-year-old twins also moved in, along with my husband himself. So now it's me, my daughter, my husband, and his 3 kids all living in my house. That's a lot of people. I'm already so curious about why the husband didn't already live there. Since moving in, my husband has only paid 2 water bills, maybe around $500 total. I pay the mortgage, electric, internet, water, sewer, aside from those 2 bills he covered. I've been struggling financially, and for the first time in 13 years, I was late on my mortgage. I've asked him multiple times to help with bills, but nothing changes. Meanwhile, before he moved in, he sold his house in another state and made about $60,000 profit. Instead of putting that toward our life together, he spent at least $30,000 as a down payment on a C8 Corvette. Okay. Recently, I told him I needed help with the mortgage. His response was, "I don't have that money right now." So once again, the payment is late. When I brought up splitting bills fairly, his idea was that he should only pay for the extra his family adds. For example, if the electric bill was normally $255 and this month's is $260, he thinks his responsibility is just the $5 difference. Nothing toward the base cost. He also doesn't think he should pay any of the mortgage since that amount has always been the same. I don't think this is fair. It's me and my daughter, plus him and his 3 kids. That's 4 people in the house who aren't mine. Why should I be covering the majority when I'm already stretched so thin? Especially while my husband has a 2020 C8 Corvette, a C4 Corvette, a boat, and a Ducati Panigale. Whatever that is. I think it's another car. I don't know. We did talk about finances before we moved in. He was going to cover all of the upgrades on the house while I paid the necessities, but he hasn't done any of that and I'm still paying. His money gets to go where he wants. So AITA for expecting him to split bills evenly instead of only covering the overage. Oh, man, we started on a good one today. Okay, before we go on, I have to find out what a Ducati Panigale is. I know that the Corvettes are cars. It's a motorcycle. A Ducati Panigale is a sport bike. Okay. Now we know. We had our learning for today. Whoa. Okay. Where did I want to go back to? Oh. There's so much wrong with this. Regardless of whether or not the mortgage has increased since more people live there. No, you are not the asshole. You are right. Your husband is an asshole. And he's selfish. And so are his adult kids. I'm not going to pick on the 17-year-old twins. They may still be in high school, possibly going to college. Either way, on the verge of adulthood, so I'm not going to pick on them. Your daughter is a child. Not going to pick on her. Your husband and his adult son are living with you rent-free. This isn't just about your husband. This is also about the adult son who moved in first. They both need to be paying their way, because really you said you're paying all the bills except for those 2 water bills. What about groceries? What is he paying for besides his toys? The fact that he made a $60,000 profit, knew he was moving in with you, had intended, maybe, to make all these upgrades on the house, but then spent half his profit on another Corvette when he already had a Corvette. That's a problem. That says a lot about him. Let me see. I wish you would have had an agreement with the adult son from the moment he moved in, because he absolutely, without a doubt, should be paying rent for the space he's taking up in your house. He should be paying rent to not only cover the cost of his room, but also the difference in water, electric, his use of the internet, all the things. There's no reason why he should get to live there for free at 25 years old. The same for your husband. If he's not doing his part, you guys, for whatever, it seems like you were already married before he lived with you. And I don't know why that was, but you guys had this arrangement going into it. When he moved in and sold his house, he would be doing improvements on your house. He would be spending his money on improvements, and that's why you were still going to be covering the base costs. But he's not doing that. So if he's not living up to his end of the bargain, then the arrangement needs to change, because it already hasn't been met. You're so right for expecting him to split the bills evenly, especially when he has more people in the household than you do. Regardless of whose name is on the house, he has more people living here than you do. Splitting the bills evenly is the least you should ask for. And if he's not willing to do that, and his son is not willing to contribute, the adult son is not willing to contribute, then they need to leave. That's the way I see it. This situation fully reads that he is taking advantage of you. If he wasn't taking advantage of you, you wouldn't be late on your mortgage. Well, he has 2 Corvettes, a motorcycle, and a boat. No, they're taking advantage of you. You are right. Put your foot down. Story number 2 is coming to us from r/AITA_relationships. AITA for telling my ex to go die. Probably. Hey, so after a decade of being together and 3 years engaged, my man, without warning, suddenly left me because an ex from 20 years ago popped up and couldn't stop thinking about him and had to have a relationship with him again. And they must have been soulmates. Said she loved him so much, blah, blah, blah. He abandoned me without warning. I've cried for 2 months and got nothing from him. No sympathy, no sorry. We weren't fighting. We had plans. We loved each other. She came in promising him who knows what, and he went for it. He left me, our baby dog, and everything behind. After ignoring me for a month, he started stringing me along out of guilt. I flat out asked him, "Did you want to get back together and work on things?" He said, "No." He still wants his new path. He said no, he was still on his new path. I got so angry. I told him I finally took off our engagement ring and I was going to throw it in the garbage. I also told him never text me again and he could go die. They could both go die. Of course, I was just angry and grieving, and I regret saying that. He got super angry when I said that, and we didn't talk again. Now I'm thinking maybe it was a step too far. Part of me thinks I was being ridiculous to say that, and part of me thinks he actually deserved that kind of anger. Am I the asshole for saying that? Yes. I think words have impact. Words matter very much. Did he deserve that kind of anger? Yes, absolutely. But I think the way you let it out was wrong. There are so many things you could have said. You could have actually talked about the situation and what happened, what went wrong, how it made you feel. But instead, you're just like, oh, go die. I hope you both go die. That's horrible. I don't like to put that kind of energy out into the world. You're wrong for saying for saying what you said. You're not wrong for being incredibly angry because he does deserve that. Um, I mean, you can't take it back. You can't take it back. I wouldn't reignite communication by sending an apology or anything. I would just be done. Just walk away. Story number 3 is coming to us from r/am I the jerk. AITJ for telling my boyfriend he can't use my car anymore after he got a parking ticket and hid it from me. I, 25 female, let my boyfriend, 27 male, borrow my car occasionally since his is in the shop. Last month, I got a parking ticket in the mail from a day he had the car. I asked him about it and he said, "Oh yeah, I meant to tell you." Then I found out he actually hid the ticket in my glove box and hoped I wouldn't notice. I had to pay it because it's in my name, and he didn't even offer to cover it. I told him that was the last straw. He's not using my car again. He got mad and said I'm punishing him for a mistake and not treating him like a partner. Now he's giving me the silent treatment. AITJ for taking away car privileges? No. I really want to know where this is because I'm fairly certain here in Missouri, like, if you get a ticket, it's attached to your license, not the vehicle. So, like, here, the ticket would have been in his name. He would have been responsible regardless of what car he was driving. Not only did he hide it, you're punishing him for a mistake. Okay, well, the authorities who gave you the ticket were punishing you for the mistake just the same. Why should she be any easier on you? I hate that you paid it because you don't mention anything about asking him to cover it because it was his mistake. I wish you would have pushed the issue on him paying it. Regardless of whether or not he offered, you should have asked, you should have demanded. You are not the jerk. You are right. Because not only did he do something wrong, but he did something wrong and hid it from you so he could continue having access to those privileges. Hard stop. No. Story number 4 is coming to us from r/AITAH. AITAH if I don't want my friend to see my house because I'm afraid she'll want to move in. I do not have that problem. A friend I've known for over 30 years has never been to my home. My husband and I moved into our house 9 years ago. She recently moved closer to me after getting out of a toxic living situation. She moved in with a friend, but it's only a 1-bedroom. But she doesn't have her own space, so it's not ideal. After realizing how close she is to me, she mentioned staying over at my house sometimes. We have a bedroom that belongs to my stepson for when he stays here. He is an adult but lives with his girlfriend at her parents' house, but he always has a place here. We also have a finished basement. She has been guilt-tripping another friend into moving in with her, but she's been dealing with some pretty heavy trauma. For context, this woman does not have a job but collects disability. She also does not drive. She tends to bring a lot of drama and doesn't always respect boundaries. Although I would love to hang out with her, my concern is once she sees that I have extra space, that she'll start guilt-tripping me into moving in with me. Once she does, though, chances of her ever moving out are slim. She's never lived on her own. We've tried encouraging her to get a studio, and there are plenty that she could afford, but has made excuses of why she can't. So AITAH if I don't want to run the risk of her asking to move in with me. I mean, no, you're not wrong for that. You're right. You're not wrong for that. You're right in your concerns. You have clearly very many valid concerns for being afraid of running the risk of her asking to move in with you. But the thing is, even if she does, you can say no. Because it really does sound like she just doesn't want to live alone. And if she doesn't want to and she can find a way to make that work for her, fine. But you don't want her to live in your home, which is fair. So, I mean, if you want to hang out with her, you can have her over to your house. If she asks you, you just say no. And you just tell her why. You just say, we value our privacy, we value our space, we really don't want anyone additional in the home. It's that simple. And if she continues to guilt you after that, then maybe this friendship is not meant to last. Yeah, that is kind of a hard situation to be in, but I really think it's as simple as if you want to hang out, you invite her over. If she says anything about it, you shut her down. Just tell her no. Story number 5. If my camera doesn't die on me, it's blinking red, is coming to us from r/AITA_WIBTA_public. AITAH for not wanting to give my coworker rides anymore. I have a coworker who lost their car recently. He's really down on his luck between his living situation and now his car, so we have been helping him up here. One coworker was giving him rides to work, and I was taking him home since me and him are on the same shift. My on time being 2 hours earlier though, since I work 4 days a week and him 5. The coworker that offered to take him said she couldn't anymore. He was distraught, so I was like, fine, I'll come grab you, but I do come in earlier than you. I did this for a couple of days. They started construction by our job, so it's backing us up getting to work by a lot. I told him I'd be there by a certain time last night. Today I texted him when I was on my way. When I got there, he didn't come out for over 20 minutes. And he smelled like MJ. Y'all, I take my kids to school in this car. When I asked the other coworker why she stopped, she said it was because he was always late coming out, the traffic issue, and he would always want to make coffee or food stops. It's only 1.7 miles. It's Texas, so I know it's hot, but am I wrong for thinking he should just walk? Nope, you are so right. He is not being appreciative of what you guys are doing for him. He does not respect your time. 20 minutes late is outrageous. I wouldn't even have waited that long. I would have waited 5, maybe 10 minutes tops and been like, hey, I would text him again, said, after 5 minutes, I would text him again, said, hey, I'm here. I've been here for this long. I told you I'd be here at this time. I'm going to wait 5 more minutes. And if he wasn't out in time, that's his luck. That's his problem. He created that situation. No, you are right. And at 1.7 miles, not even 2 whole miles, he can walk. Especially if, it's the morning shift, like when he's going in the morning, it's probably really not going to be that hot. He'll be fine. In the afternoon, maybe you could continue to work that out. But after he came out smelling that way and you don't want your car smelling that way for your kids and everything, I would just stop. And when he asks, tell him the truth. Tell him you did not respect my time. You made me late to work. I do not want the smell of that substance in my car. Sorry, I can't help you anymore. Sometimes you just have to be harsh like that. And if it is better for you and your family for you to no longer assist him, that's fair. That's fine. Story number 6 is coming to us from r/am I overreacting? And this one is tagged friendship. AIO for calling my friend a weirdo and not wanting to see him anymore. So for some context, he always likes to throw random jabs at me for no reason when a girl seems to be interested in me. Here's a few examples. 1. A girl had asked me what car I drive, and I said a BMW 430i. He says, yeah, but he can only afford a base model. 2. A conversation with a girl as we're walking home from a party. She says, so you're gonna protect me tonight? And before I can say anything, he says, not his bitch ass. Like, huh? 3. A girl says, take a shot for me, and he says, he a lightweight, though he's gonna be crying if he takes too much. 4. And yesterday was the final straw. He asks if we can go out. I say, I'm broke. I don't get paid till tomorrow. And he says, it's cool. He'll pay for me. So we go to a restaurant, and the entire time, me and a waitress keep eyeing each other. And eventually, after she walks past us like 10 times, she comes up to me to say hi, and we talk a bit. And she asks me, do you want to get together and do something Saturday night? To which he replies, he doesn't even have money to pay for his meal right now. You swear he's going to take you anywhere fun? And laughs. The girl and I kind of awkwardly ignore it, and she gives me her number, so when we left the restaurant, I let him know that he's a weirdo for making comments like that, and I went off on him, and told him to find his own way back home since I drove. I'm standing by what I said, but I don't know if I want to hang out with him anymore. Am I overreacting? Update. I'd like to thank everyone for assuring me of this. I just finished talking to him and expressed that I do not see myself being friends with him any longer, and he just said cool. So yeah, all straightened out. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, you got good advice. That is exactly what I was going to say. Like, he has put you down every single opportunity he got. That the things that he has said, and especially said in front of people, that's not a friend. He doesn't even like you. Oh, he can only afford a base model. What does it matter? He's being very materialistic. Yeah, he's just not a friend. He's not. So I'm glad that you have ended that situation because it was not a friendship. All right, that is 5. That is 6 stories for this week's episode of Was I in the Wrong? Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time for another episode of the Misty Morrison Podcast.